She still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Zhang Weili is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, welcome back, everyone, to a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 64. Today is October 6, 2023. As always, I'm your host in New Jersey. I am your boy D-Rock, and joining me from the golf capital of the world down in beautiful South Carolina, Joey D. How are you doing today, sir?
It's feeling good. It's been a beautiful morning so far. Started off with Drake's album and some fights early to start.
Hey, how did you do? We'll knock that off real quick. 7-5 today. How was that?
I did exactly that. I went 7-5 today, and 7 fights went finished, and 5 went to distance, so it matched my record. It was kind of interesting, but overall, another good event by one. They always putting on good 4-ounce Muay Thai fights.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I think we had an amazing weekend. Hiatus for the UFC, but PFL Paris, you had Canelo's performance as well. I guess we'll start in Europe, in France, where the whole Paris Saint-Germain team was there to see Cedric Doumbe. What a performance. First, bringing out a mattress is bold. I will say that. It's bold. And then you go and knock him out in 9 seconds. I'm hearing 7
He needed
seconds.
to back it up. He needed to back that up. Absolutely.
So, what a performance by Cedric Doumbe. I mean, PFL has a star. What were your performance on first the walkout and then 9 seconds of the fight?
I was, my jaw kind of hit the floor when I saw the mattress bringing out, and I mean everything leading up to it. But man, honestly, Cedric Doumbe, his debut, it lived up to the expectations. I said it, and I said it 4 times last episode to just mark the significance of it. He had the whole crowd rolling. Everyone was backing him. It was crazy. I haven't seen a guy command an audience like that in quite a while. But like you said, it was in his home backyard, and all his PSG was there. And Mbappe probably was the most famous person to ever attend any fights anywhere.
Really?
Because UFC, I mean, honestly, if you look at their stardom across internationally, they might be bigger stars than any American celebrity. So, the biggest one that they argue, if you look in terms of eyes and look at their followers, Sergio Ramos went to a UFC event. People say that might be the most famous person to ever go to a UFC event, to be completely honest.
What about Cristiano Ronaldo? Has he ever gone to one?
I don't think he's gone to an event, but I definitely know he's visited Conor, and there's a whole story with that. We can go down that, but he's now more of a Khabib fan. So
I did.
We'll leave that for another day.
I also heard that one of the big stars, I know not soccer related, but The Rock has been to a few. And if you kind of go by the measuring stick of Instagram followers, The Rock is one of the biggest ones that have been. But yeah, Mbappe is one of the biggest superstars that has gone to a mixed martial arts fight. And I mean, Cedric Doumbe, he's going to put fans in the seat. The man's
he's the truth, man.
Yeah, he's the truth. And when he walked out, I was watching and I said, okay, he says it. Let's see if he does it. And he did it. I mean, what a massive star. I don't like the story now. Everyone online is after the fight, the UFC fumbled the bag. They really missed on this one. Do you think that's accurate?
Not necessarily. I think they had a lot of issues going into signing him, and it's not always a hit. You never knew that this was going to actually be the case, that he's going to be a surefire hit. So PFL, they're taking chances, and it's working out for the most part. We got to see them make some money because, as we know, we're going to talk about it later, Bellator is in shambles right now with how they're approaching everything. So,
I thought, I think it could be, but we'll see. Also, I want to undefeated prospect. This girl's going to be a champion one day. Dakota Da Vinci with a huge upper body shot, knockout, and the kick to follow. I mean, this girl, now she's fighting for the $1 million, I think, next in Dublin. So what did you see from her? What a combination, too.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of young stars in the making for the PFL. Good for them. We need these promotions to succeed so we can get stars like this in other regions where they don't really have the access or, the talent so deep in the UFC. It's hard to just show face in it, even be a top 50 contender ranked in the UFC. So it's just very difficult. So we need more promotions. We need more places for these fighters to go. And so Dakota Dacheva, for her to be on display like that, a lot of people can argue Cornelia Holmes, she fought, isn't the best opponent, like level of competition is all there, but you're not seeing those type of combinations being put together in a lot of women's fights. So That was impressive, and I want to see what she can do next. Like you said, she's competing for that $1 million.
Yeah, and she has a boxing background. Her parents own a gym, so growing up in the ring always helps. The lady from Manchester. Other happening on Saturday night last week, Canelo Alvarez. He reminds people he is back. He defeats Jermell Charlo 119 to 108, 118 to 109, 118 to 109. That's the way I scored it, 118 to 109. I thought Charlo won maybe one round. I thought he won. Yeah, I'd give him round 4. But other than that, I mean, he wanted to make his statement, and I think that's exactly what he did. What did you think from the veteran Canelo Alvarez?
Yeah, shutout performance. I think a lot of people can argue, like we just said before, the level of competition that Charlo has fought, but people also can argue that maybe he wasn't all too good to begin with, or maybe it's the factor of the brothers coming into play that they're able to market each other so well. And I mean, they're very competent fighters. Absolutely, the resume speaks for itself, but at the end of the day, you're fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez, and I think he just took him to school. He looked good, crisp. He's a bigger guy. He's the one that I think dropped the weight, right, to fight for those titles. So he's coming in as a bigger guy. I think he wanted to kind of give someone else a taste of the medicine he received when he fought Dimitri Bivol, because he got bullied around by a bigger guy, and he was able to do the same to Charlo. So let's see if maybe I think it's Jamal wants to redeem Jermell and maybe get a fight with Canelo, because I think they're twins, but I think he might be a little bigger, just like it slightly, but maybe his skill sets are a little more refined. Maybe he can, do something that his brother couldn't. He can watch the tape back and say, hey, I have similar patterns that my brother does, but here's something that I could do better. So I think it could be good for boxing. I do. And he's definitely top 5 pound for pound in the world right now. A lot of people argue Canelo's number 1, but I think we can't forget. We can't have too much recency bias, because we got to remember what Bud Crawford did to get that number 1 spot.
And he just demolished him, Errol Spence. Yeah, but as for the fight, I just think he controlled the whole fight, like the pace, the location, where everything was dictated by Canelo. He had him on the ropes a few times as well. And we see it even in the UFC. I just don't think, Joe, you only get certain opportunities in life. And when you get an opportunity to go against one of the greatest ever in Canelo Alvarez, he just never went for it. I thought that was very odd. When you get a fight like this, or a title fight in the UFC, same thing with Izzy. You're losing big. You need a big knockdown, or you need a knockout. It always wonders me and ponders me, because you never know when you might get this opportunity again. Maybe it looks like Charlo's going for another one. Maybe he wants Bud Crawford, or Earl Spence Jr. I just don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. But I agree. I have Canelo in my top 5 pound for pound boxing, but I don't know. I just think this was a bad opportunity. And when you get an opportunity to verse one of the best ever, you need to at least show that you wanted to be there. It seemed like Charlo didn't even want to be in the fight. Is that a fair assessment to say?
I mean, I think he was just getting beat up a little bit. I think he has a great record. He's probably beaten a lot of his opponents and has dominated most of the scorecards and the fights. So I think he was in a position that he wasn't familiar with. And it's not to say he doesn't have that dog in him. He certainly does, but I just think it's the word about waters, I can't think of the word, but that's exactly what I'm thinking. He's gone to unterritorial, he's never been there before. So Charlo, like I said, I think he just I don't know if I could argue that if he had I think it's really, we're taking away from Canelo's shine here if we do something like that. I really think that Canelo proves that he is a top 5, and to get even in the top 10 pound for pound, you have to have a certain level, and he's showing guys that are trying to step up to the plate that they're not at that level.
Yeah, levels to it. And I agree. I think maybe it turns into like a John Jones Stipe thing, where I just think the moment got a little too big for Charlo. But nonetheless, a huge win for Canelo.
Hey, we both hit on Canelo via decision.
Yep, at least we get that right. Other than that, 5-5 over the weekend. Angela Ree winds up retiring. I thought she did the good move and let the ladies know beforehand. She respected them. She goes, if I was in their position, I would want to know, just because, Stamp, she did wind up winning. Good call on that. She wanted to verse Angela Lee. So she relinquished.
They have fought before. That's the thing. Yeah, Angela Lee beat her. Yeah.
And,
I think it's a respectful passing of the torch. It really
100%. And everyone respected Angela Lee. She's an amazing fighter. She's going on to do bigger and better things. Fighting mental healthness called Fight Story. It's a nonprofit to cater to mental health awareness. So it's a very good thing what she's doing, her and her husband in Hawaii. So got to give her flowers. But overall, one PFL, the Canelo fight. Overall, what was your record this weekend, Joe?
Yeah, like we said, we got the Canelo. We analyzed it, we broke it down. We said that Charlo was tough enough, and we said Canelo would win with the judges' scorecards, and that's what we got. We added a -130, I think you and I both. So that was a hit, a big one for last week with no UFC. PFL, I went 6-1, and I hit a 2-leg parlay at +150. And like you mentioned, I went 7-5 this morning for one, but last week I went 5-5, but hit on the co-main and main event with our girls, the 18-year-old phenom, Samila Sindel, and then Stamp Fairtex taking the torch and, keeping it strong, because honestly, Stamp is the stalwart in that, one championship atom weight class division.
Yeah, 100%. I went with Siho Ham. She didn't get the job as a dog. I went 0-2 in one. I hit on the Canelo via decision, and I hit on one of my PFL. So 2-2. We do split even on the week without any UFC. So no harm, no foul there. Before we get into UFC Vegas 80, we do have one fight night 15 going down in about a little over 2.5 hours from now. Joe, what are your plays for tonight to kick us off?
Awesome, man. And I'm doing really good in one, and we'll get into a lot of stuff later.
Would you say that's your best organization?
I'll be honest, I do see the fights rather well there. I got to get a little more information and do a little more of my research within like Muay Thai fights altogether, with the history of kickboxing and striking oriented sports. But yeah, honestly, I hit really good with one. So I'm proud to say that very well may be one of my best promotions to predict. And if you want me to go ahead and take over one fight night 15, there's a bunch to talk about here, but I'm not going to get involved until we get some of the men's mixed martial arts fights. And we're starting off here with Elko Roni Saputra taking on Yang Hu. And man, a couple of these fights to begin with are pick'ems. And so I'm going to take who I see with a pretty solid record here. Yang Hu, China's Yang Hu, 11-4. A little more experience, higher ranked guy in the same weight class as Saputra. And I'm liking him in the spot. I think the youth's also going to come into play. He's a younger guy. So give me him here, -113 straight up. But it'll go into play with the next fight, which is another MMA clash between Timothy Nasty Aiken taking on Li Peng Zhang. And boys and girls, Nasty Aiken, he's been a one stalwart for a while, but I think his time has passed. I like Li Peng Zhang. He's also got a lot of experience. And I think China's got a little parlay here. Give me China's 2-leg pick'em parlay at +255 to start us early, because I got Li Peng Zhang on the money line at -113 as well. Both, like I said, pick'ems, and both are at -113. It was both sides, depending on where you went, at -113. But hey, put them together. China's 2-leg pick'em parlay at +255.
Love it.
Thank you there. And let's keep it in MMA, where we go with Joshua Pasio taking on Mansur Malkaev. And the undefeated fighter Malkaev has finished about 90% of his fights. Pasio's no joke. His nickname is The Passion for a reason. And I haven't had success fading Filipino fighters, but unfortunately, I gotta go here again. I gotta take the undefeated Mansur Malkaev, and I think he continues his streak, stays undefeated. He is -480, so he's a big favorite here. And the next one, you got Darth Rigatoni. Can't fade Mikey Musumeci taking on the legend Shinya Aoki. But I just think, Aoki being a legend, he's going into Mikey's world. So he's a grappling
match, right?
Grappling match, exactly. Darth Rigatoni -750 favorite. So yeah, expected to win. Taekwon Chai, he's taking on Joe Natawa. Got to take Taekwon Chai here. I would even go as far as like a second round knockout, but it's -590. A lot of heavy favorites, but maybe you'll run a parlay. All I had was the MMA pick'em parlay. But let's get to the co-main and main event. We have for the one flyweight championship, kickboxing, John DeBella taking on Little D, Daniel Williams. John DeBella is who I'm taking in this. He's a favorite at -325. I think he's going to school Daniel Williams, who's got the age. He's just on his way out once again. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of these guys get put on display in one, but they were, legends of the sport. So respectfully so. Let's go with the main event. I got Tan Lee all the way here. He's a big dog, surprisingly, on the scorecards. But if you look, got to shout out our team here at Verdict. They know that Tan Lee's the favorite in this one. So I'm taking the books getting it wrong here at plus 215. Tan Lee against Ilya Freemanov, who is a highly decorated wrestler, great fighter, and he could definitely make some noise here, but I think it's Tan Lee's fight to lose here. Watch out for these knockouts, man. Flying fists everywhere. And that's One Fight Night 15.
Yeah, One Night 15, Firmanov versus Lee. Get that on Amazon Prime and 8 p.m. Eastern, so a little over 2.5 hours from now. Joe, before we get to UFC Vegas 80 and Bellator 300, quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer in the market, hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We favor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives, whether it's playing golf with a huckleberry or an elderberry on a Saturday watching UFC Vegas 80, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Ice Cake Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, Joe, we will start in the Apex. UFC is returning. UFC Vegas 80. Take us away, kid. What do you got?
Got a lot of people itching for the return of the UFC here. So let's start it up with the first fight of the night. And of course, I'll be touching on it. We got Montana De La Rosa taking on JJ Aldrich. And JJ Aldrich is having a quick turnaround here. I'm going with the favorite, Montella De La Rosa. I think her grappling can come into play. I think she's a better grappler. She struggled on the feet a little bit, putting together her combinations, but man, it's just hard to see JJ Aldrich fights because she winds up winning the other times. But I just got to keep fading until I learn my lesson, because I haven't yet. So give me Montella De La Rosa at minus 135 here to start us up. Hope y'all got a laugh out of that. Let's take on the next fight. Johnny Munoz Jr. is taking on Ori Qilang. Honestly, at first I was looking at the one lineup with the two Chinese athletes, and I put them in a parlay. I was thinking that, China's going to be on a roll here. But Johnny Munoz Jr. has got great grappling. He's got a lot of submissions on his resume, and I think that may be the hole in Ori Qilang's game. I think the hole will be exposed here. Give me Johnny Munoz Jr. via submission at plus 280. I got some good odds for you starting early. All right, guys. Let's go into the next one. And I like this one. I know we've seen her in the past. Unfortunately, I think before her last fight, she hurt her arm. But Kanako Murata's back, and she's taking on Little Monster Vanessa Demopoulos. And, she's always a tough out, such a gamer here. But I got to go with the padded record here of Kanako Murata. I think, when it comes to putting the pressure, I think she'll have the advantage. If it gets to the grappling exchanges, I do tend to be biased as my grappler. I think Vanessa would have the advantage, but I'm going to take the favor here and take Murata. Maybe inside the distance, you want to get more value, but on the money line, she's a minus 278, which I took. So give me Japan's Murata. I'll go right into the next one. And D, tell me if you're leaning a certain way. And if I got my boy Nate Maness here, and you might hate me for this, but I got to fade him. He's proved me wrong last outing, and I want him to prove me wrong. Honestly, I really do. But Matus Mandaka, heavier guy, bigger guy, coming here to cut some weight, made weight, and is looking good. I think he's more vicious a fighter. I think he can finish it inside the distance as well if you want to get some better value. But once again, I'm taking Mandaka as a favorite on the money line, minus 240.
Is he he's not the biggest favorite on the card, correct?
Not the biggest, I don't think. No, I think we might have to wait till the main event for that.
Yeah, no play on this one. I do have the next strawweight women's fight.
How about that? And I think that's going to be our featured prelim bout. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it's the Philip Linds and Ian Kutalave.
Hey, either way, we get to see Karolina Kowalkiewicz back in the octagon taking on Diana Belbita. And Diana Belbita, as beautiful as she is, I think she struggles inside the octagon. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, I think, will actually use her striking in a weird way. I feel like if she does get pressured against the fence, I feel like she's going to be able to counter Diana Belbita, because I don't think Belbita has the best responses for countering. I think she can get fighters at it. Don't get me wrong. Belbita absolutely is athletic and she has some viciousness to her, but she falls into trouble with her defense. And I think that's where Karolina Kowalkiewicz can shine. So give me the favorite again here. I got a lot of favorites because I think even Johnny Munoz was as well. I just wanted to prop to get some value. I'm just going to take Kowalkiewicz on the money line at -155. That's my girl. I think she's back 3 in a row. Let's make it 4.
Yeah, I think that she's being very undervalued here. I took Karolina Kowalkiewicz as well, -145. I got. Just look at the strength of schedule for Belbita. Her toughest fight was against Molly McCann. And we've talked about how McCann's grappling is just not there. Molly McCann won that fight and just simply out-grappled her. She took her down 5 times in that fight. And not to be disrespectful, but I don't really think highly of Molly McCann as a fighter at all. Meanwhile, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, she has good wrestling and she does a good job dictating where the fight will go. I just think she'll use her wrestling in this fight. Actually, different from you. Instead of her striking, I think she's going to use her wrestling, take control of this fight. I know everyone wanted to write her off after her big losing streak, but she lost to some fucking killers. Now, I think she's on a 3-fight win streak, like Joe said. I think that says a little more about her and her adapting and overcoming things. So I'm all over Karolina Kowalkiewicz here.
Love it, man. Love it. Same side there. Different opinions on how it will take place. Gotta love the analysis.
Yep.
But let's go into what you said is the featured prelim here. And we got Felipe Lins taking on Ion the Hulk Cutelaba.
You saw his body all green.
He went the Hulk painting. I actually missed the weigh-ins. Been busy with school writing paper. But hey, honestly, Ion Cutelaba, dude, he always comes to bang. The dude is a knockout threat every single time he steps out there. He's got that intimidation factor. Like you said, he came out with the whole green face paint, probably screaming in Felipe Lins' face. But I bet you Lins didn't move an inch, if you want me to be real about it. I feel like Felipe Lins is a Stonehenge in there. He's a tough out. He puts on good performances more often than Ion Cutelaba, if I'm looking at it. Ion Cutelaba, if he doesn't get you out of there, he will struggle in the later rounds, but he still always carries that power. It's just the technical side, and which I worry about. Felipe Lins, if he winds up wrestling as well, that gives me some biases towards him because I love the grappling. So here's my play in the main. Not in the main card, the feature prelim. I got Felipe Lins here on the money line at +130. I like what I'm seeing. I really am. I really feel like it's his fight to lose here. He fought at heavyweight. I don't necessarily think he's a bigger guy per se, but he's felt some power in there. And if he can deal with that power early on, I think he can win by decision. So there's some better value, but you don't need it with him being a dog. I don't know if the line switched, but I got it at +130 for Felipe Lins.
Yeah, he's +126 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I have nothing on this fight.
Interesting. Okay, I thought the way you let up, it really felt like you were going to be like, yeah. I got Ion Cutelaba, all green face paint.
And not just all green. He had his whole body.
His whole body. Nickname, man.
Allegedly.
So let's go to the next fight. So I guess now we're in the main card, right? Would that be correct?
Yes.
All right. And tell me you have something here, because what I see as the first fight of the main card is Mr. Senor Perfecto, Bill Algeo taking on Alexander Hernandez. And D, take it away here. I want to hear what you got.
Yeah, Algeo, he has the pressure. I think he could tire out Hernandez here. He has the power, I think, Alexander Hernandez, but I just don't understand Hernandez moving down in weight for this fight. He had problems before with his weight. It just doesn't seem like a smart move, in my opinion. He also has a history of tiring out in fights, so my boy Bill, he reminds me a lot of Billy Q, if you want me to be honest. I feel like if he could survive round 1, his cardio and determination will get him the win. I think if he could survive round 1, I think Bill Algeo wins rounds 2 and 3. So I'll take him on the money line. Give me the dog, Bill Algeo on the money line +110.
He's going to need to show that dog in him, because I feel like Alexander Hernandez, though has some losses on his record, puts it on all his opponents in the first round. It's just like you said, when he gets out of that first round, he's about 50% of his former self. So that's the make or break situation in this fight, is the gas tank of Alexander Hernandez. If he has shown improvements there and he's putting on the pressure in the second and third round, I think you're going to have some trouble. But I love Senor Perfecto in this spot. I feel like he'll weather the storm. I think he's super durable. And like you said, he's got that dog in him. So my play is Bill Algeo on the money line at +110. The line has flipped. I don't know what happened and why people are going from Bill Algeo being the favorite to now the dog. Maybe you have a lot of young people liking Alexander Hernandez late, seeing the money on him being plus value and just unloading on him. But I feel like like I said, if Alexander Hernandez cannot get Bill Algeo out of there in the first round, Algeo can find a way to maybe submit him even.
Yeah.
But I think it's a decision fight here. I think we're going to have a split decision.
Yeah, so during the week, by the way, fight to go to distance is at +110 as well. I thought I saw Alexander Hernandez early in the week at like -124, and Bill Algeo, excuse me, at -124, and then I saw
like
today
140 for Alexander. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then I saw today. I was like, okay, and maybe I really didn't want to lay the juice with him, and then I saw him as the underdog. I don't know what happened, but yeah, give me the dog.
Love it. All right, and D-Rock, I think this is going to be fight of the night here. You know how I hit with my fight of the night predictions. Drew Dober's taking on Ricky Glenn. A lot of people are sleeping on the Gladiator Ricky Glenn. He has wishy-washy outings, but the dude has super talent. I mean, he really does. And Drew Dober, how long has he been fighting in the UFC now? I mean, the dude puts people asleep, and you got to love him in the spot. I really think that Drew Dober can go ahead and finish the job here at any time he wants. I just don't think he gets that chance. Give me Ricky Glenn, the biggest dog here, +360. Wow. I like Ricky Glenn. I think he'll catch him, maybe with a submission. It's not likely, but I'm going with the dog here. I'm going with the unexpected twist. I got Billy Joe. Billy Joe. I got Bill Algeo starting us up in the main card, and then I got Ricky Glenn in the next one. 2 dogs starting us up in the main card. Like I said, Ricky Glenn, biggest dog in the card, +360.
I really hope Drew Dober, by the way, chin of granite, but I really hope he's worked on his defense. We saw him get knocked out UFC 288 in Newark, New Jersey. Our boy Steamroller Frivola took him out, but you know, his last 2 fights, he really didn't look good. He did come back and win that fight before Frivola. Then he got knocked out. And I agree. I think Ricky Glenn could really fight, but on the Drew Dober side, once you get knocked out, your chin starts to go. He has a lot of wear and tear on those tires. And I just think looking at the number, you can't lay it with Dober over a $4 favor after getting knocked out. I agree with you, Joe. Ricky Glenn could hang around and he maybe steal this fight. Official play, I like to fight to start round 2 at -166. But I'm going to sprinkle a little on the dog. Ricky Glenn at +360, baby.
Oh, man, we didn't talk about this at all. I'm glad we're on the same side in this fight. We love Drew Dober. Absolute dog.
Don't let him around your girl either.
Hey, man, absolutely. Damn, dude, I wasn't expecting that. You got me at loss for words with the Ricky Glenn play. I mean, honestly, I got my verdict play. I'll tell y'all. Ricky Glenn, first round submission. I want to see the odds for that. What are the odds for Ricky Glenn first round submission? I think he catches him in a guillotine.
Ricky Glenn
jumps the gilly. It don't work. Maybe it won't look too good for us, but I'm calling it. Jumps gilly, catches Drew Dober in the first round.
They don't even have. Ricky Glenn to win by submission in the first round, 45-1.
So 4,500.
Yeah, plus 4,500.
Hey, I would play it. Someone out there play it. Let us know if you made some money.
Or if he just wins in round 1. It is +900. Jesus Christ.
There's some good odds out there, yeah. Some really good odds. So let's go into, and I like this. This is a fan favorite in the next one. The great white Alex Morono. You know, he's been there for years now, and he's just a respectful dude. He's good on the mic. And he always puts on banger. He's another one of like who we mentioned before, Tim Means, never in a boring fight. Alex Morono. Tell me the last time you've seen a boring fight from Alex Morono.
We saw him live in Charlotte.
Absolutely. The dude is a fantastic fighter. And, you know, don't take this wrong. he's been a gatekeeper of that division for this time, and you have to go through Alex Morono to state your case in the welterweight division. Joaquin Buckley here, he's in a position to make a name for himself, honestly, and he needs to do it. He wants to make welterweight his home. He's looked good in middleweight, but he's felt some shorts. He's felt short in a lot of fights just because he's fought bigger dudes, and now I think he's going to be the bigger guy. I think he's in that sweet spot of being a bigger guy for 170, but a smaller dude for 185. So I like the favorite here. I think he makes a point. I think he proves his point. I think he makes a home for himself in welterweight division. Joaquin Buckley here, New Mansa on the money line, favorite at a -165. Surprisingly so, I think you would see a veteran of the division, Moreno, be the favorite, but I think the book has this right. I think Buckley might be able to get him out of there, but Morono is tough. If he's the favorite and you don't like laying 165, which isn't too bad, maybe take Buckley via decision because Morono is just that tough for a 3-round fight.
Yeah, very interesting fight here between Alex Moreno and Joaquin Buckley. I do like Alex Moreno's clinch game, and if he can get Buckley down, I do think he has the advantage. We saw him get the submission win in Charlotte, but Buckley, he's been training hard down in Austin. He switched camps. I like that move for him. Buckley, I think he has the power to keep this fight on the feet. Buckley at 170, I think, is a beast. I agree. I just think he's run into bigger fighters, but in this fight, he will be the bigger fighter. I think he's the better athlete. His takedown defense has gotten better. So I took him on the money line -165, but I could actually see him getting Alex Moreno out of there. So if you don't want to take the money line -165, I would sprinkle on Buckley inside the distance at +105.
Morono does take a punch to give a punch. So, I mean, that's always possible. I just seen, we did see him get taken out of there by Ponzinibbio.
And
so
that's bad if you're getting knocked out by Ponzinibbio. No disrespect, but Joaquin Buckley will knock you.
But I just don't think he's chinny, so it's not likely to see a performance where he's starting to get knocked out. You know what I mean? I think Morano's still alive in that division.
Yeah,
I really do. So this is a big fight for both of them because either one can make a name off
this is
one
a
another.
Fun card. Not going to lie.
This is a really underestimated card, slept on card. I think one of the more well-rounded ones
100%.
Of the entire year. Absolutely. Yeah. So we've made it to the co-main event, and man, body bags here. Joey Pyfer is a star in the making. I think Abdul Razak Al Hassan is a test, though. Dude's built like a fire hydrant. He's beat some good names, too. Only lost to some studs. That is Al Hassan. And I think people are expecting a finish in this one, but I can't fade the star in the making here. I got to go with someone who shares my namesake, Joey. Body bags here. -350 is too heavy of a favorite. I'll take it. But give me via decision at +600 as well. I don't think a lot of people are expecting that, but these two dudes are durable. I think there's a lot of fight, a lot of heart, and a lot of determination and grit coming from the Pyfer side. And like I said, Al Hassan has only been finished once. Might not even been by a via KO, TKO. It might have been like by a cut or a doctor stoppage. Dude's only lost by decision. So I don't think people are seeing it. But when these dudes get tired, because they will after throwing bombs and nobody getting put out, that decision's alive and well. So that's why I say I got to pick a side, though. And I think the star is going to wind up shining. Give me Joey body bags via decision at +600.
Yeah, I think this is a real test for Joe Pyfer. Al Hassan, he's a good striker. He has a good overhand right, good kicks. We've seen him get finished before. I'm going to go with Joey Pyfer via submission. +600. I think he has a very under-rounded ground game. He's participated in multiple grappling tournaments, and he's not a stupid fighter. He has a very high IQ. I don't think he needs to go in there and fill his ego and go and knock Al Hassan out to continue, the hype train. I think Pyfer inside the distance is a safe play, but it's over $2 favorite. I'm not even going to do that. It's too juicy, but I think if he gets this fight on the floor, he possibly submits him and shows off his ground game. +600, I got to throw a flyer on Joe Pyfer.
Hey, man, I love the stance. You can't go wrong with +600 odds either way. It might be worth a sprinkle each way you go. From Joe Pyfer, from sleeping in his car to sleeping his opponents.
And pay him. You want him to fight top 15 guys? Pay me top 15.
Hey, might as well just call the man not body bags, call the man money bags.
Money bags.
That's how we do it. So let's go into the main event here. And man, when we first heard it, when you broke the news a couple episodes ago, I was like, man, a surprise kind of main event here. I was like, if they're trying to do it, they're trying to push KGD, Grant Dawson in this spot. And you have to look at the record, honestly. The dude's impressive, and he grinds his opponents out, finds a way to get a submission, finds a way to finish him on ground and pound. I mean, he is a grinder, but he's facing Bobby King Green, and Bobby King Green, you know how he comes, man. He comes to fight. He's got those combinations. He's got that dirty boxing. He's got the regular boxing. He's got the street hands. Bobby King Green, oh, man, it's tough. We just saw him submit Tony Ferguson, and you think maybe that will get things going for him, but he is 37. I do think that plays a factor with the young Grant Dawson. I think he's going to show some youth into the octagon. And like I said, put that pressure on Bobby King Green. I think he's a favorite for a reason. I think the book's got it right. I will be taking the money line, but minus 400 is no value there. So give me Grant Dawson with the favorite prop of via submission at plus 140. I think he returns the favor. What did we see? Bobby King Green submit Tony Ferguson. I think it was an arm triangle. I think Grant Dawson finishes Bobby King Green with an arm triangle.
Yeah, Grant Dawson, man, he is so damn good. 21-1, 8-0-1 in the UFC. Top 10 in the lightweight division. They kind of slow tracked him, which is kind of surprising. Usually they kind of fast track guys like this, but this is his first main event. He just beat up Damir Usmangalov. He's ready, I think. I think making the gym change and going down to Florida AT&T has really helped him. He trains with Johnny Eblin. He's elevated, and I just think this is a good spot for him against King Green, who he does have good defense, but he's a boxer. And this is a grappler in Grant Dawson, but I think Dawson's striking has gotten better, and he's just going to, we all know what he's going to do. He's going to go in there and swing until he gets a takedown. And when the fight is on the ground, he has the clear advantage. He could finish him. So official play, give me Grant Dawson via inside the distance at plus 138. But instead of submission, because everyone and their mother is on Grant Dawson via submission, I'm actually going to take via KO TKO at plus 500 just because I think when he gets him down, he's going to get into mount position, and we all know he's going to try to, he might submit him, and he has that in his capability in his bag. But I also think he could go and knock him out and fucking have some sharp elbows. So at plus 500, I'm going to go on the up. I'm going to be contrary and take via KO TKO at plus 500.
Same side, same, but different. Gotta love it. So, and that was for a couple of them there. We were on the same side. We were on the opposite side, and we had different takes on a lot of these fights. And I'm excited for the UFC to be back.
Yeah,
but they're going up against a huge event for Bellator in Bellator 300. But a lot of controversy surrounding it. So that was all we had for UFC Vegas 80. But let's get into a landmark event for Bellator 300. But my honest opinion, to be honest, just to go right into it, is I think this is the final one. I know they mentioned 301 again, but I'm going to keep my position. I don't think they get there. With the weight misses, with the title cancellations, with the bouts, with everything, the whole emotions going into is with PFL behind the scenes working to acquire them. Who knows what they'll do once they do acquire them? I know you said that they want to keep the mantle, but that's just, hearsay. They could easily take the Bellator name away at any moment. So I'm going to go on the limb and just say that this is the last Bellator we have, and I'm going to treat it as such. But I don't have that many plays. But I'm glad we're here. We've made it. We got 300 events for Bellator. Dylan, what you got?
Real quick. I just wanted a few notes and bobs. Ryan Bader and Vassal is off for this card. Vassal withdrew to an illness. And then we were down to 3 title fights, but then we got news where another weight miss. So now we're down to 2 title fights. So not good. I agree. It's going downhill. And I do want to give a shout out. Former UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez. He will be in the corner for Usman Nurmagomedov this weekend. Velasquez got permission through the court. Yeah, AKA. So he's going to be there. It's the penultimate show for them, I think. I would disagree. I do think they're going to get there 301. They have the fights announced. They have the location booked. After that, I agree. I think it's up in the air. I do think they'll eventually kill them off. I do think they'll get to 301. But what's really sick about this, the gold gloves. I don't know if you saw them. They're going to be using the gold gloves. That was sick. And did you see the poster? They had all the legends. You had Johnny Eblin. You had Michael Chandler, who's carried the promotion. I thought it was a sick poster. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
I liked Bellator. I really did. You know, a lot of people didn't. They didn't make the right financial decisions, nor was there a
No,
lot
they
of memorable
didn't.
stuff. But you know, I did like Bellator. The title looked cool, and some of the little gimmicks that they did were really cool.
Yeah, just
Especially
wanted to
keeping the
say,
tournaments around. That
yeah,
was probably, if I could take anything away, is to keep the tournaments going somehow. I don't think we'll ever see same day tournaments again. I think that would be really cool, but I don't think we ever will because safety and regulations. But if we could keep tournaments alive and well, that would be a great thing.
Yeah, just a few bits and bobs that I wanted to say. But Joe, I only have one play and one parlay. So whatever
And
you
I'm
got
not getting
there.
involved until what would have been the first title fight of the evening.
Okay.
But like you said, with McFarland missing weight, that's no longer. So take us away with your girl, Leah McCart.
Leah McCart versus Sarah McCann, the battle of the mix. Give me Leah McCart money line plus 205. Huge age discrepancy here. 12 years younger. She's going to be the bigger fighter. She has a 4-inch reach advantage as well. So I think at this number, you got to take a shot at her at plus 205. I got it earlier in the week. Leah McCart. So give me the dog early here in the prelims. And yeah, when I got the 3 favorite money line parlay, I'm going to take Usman Nurmagomedov, Liz Carmouche, and the women's GOAT, Chris Cyborg. You take them all on the money line minus 135.
That's fucking hilarious because that's exactly what I have too.
No way.
Yeah, because I have Gorilla taking on McFarland. I didn't have McFarland winning either way.
No.
Took her on the money line. Chris Cyborg, like you said, the women's GOAT. I think she's going to dominate. I had her money line minus 550. And then Usman Nurmagomedov, I think it's his fight to lose unless, you know, he breaks an ankle in there. I don't think he's losing this one. So he was minus 1,300. And all that combined, I had 135, minus 135. But what I went ahead and did is looking at it and seeing how I wanted to approach it to give you guys a lot of money. I'm going with the props parlay. I got the main event, Usman Nurmagomedov getting Brett Primus added her via submission at plus 175. Added with Chris Cyborg getting Kat Zingano added her via KO TKO at minus 150. And Liz Carmouche beating Ilya McFarland by decision at plus 110. With all that being said, the 3-leg prop parlay will give you odds of plus 863.
Ooh, I like that, Joe. And by the way, I will say Chris Cyborg and Kat Zingano should be the main event. I'm sorry. She's the GOAT. She's been around.
I do. And she was holding Bellator down for a while.
Yes. And they're both from California. It's taking place in San Diego. She's wearing like Padre themed shorts. And I just think they fumbled it. I get Usman Nurmagomedov being the main event, but Kat Zingano and Chris Cyborg, she's the GOAT. She has to be the main event. I think they fumbled on that.
Yeah, I agree. They look good at the weigh-ins. You had the face paint, everything going. They're ready for the main event. Can't take away anything from the fighters being professional. It's unfortunate there was a weight miss, but I'm
professional.
I think not. Yeah, but I think a lot of them are wearing the weight of the company. Unfortunately,
that's. Yeah, it's another topic for another day. Joe, good luck. And that's crazy that we had the same parlay. We don't discuss our plays before the show, so it's actually really funny that we had the same parlay.
On the same side.
Yeah, same side as well. So, Joe, good luck. Not just Bellator, good luck in the UFC as well. Should be a very fun Saturday. Some news before we get into the 10 seconds left segment. Austin, Texas is the front runner to host the December 2nd main event. The UFC has requested to have a permit for the event in Austin, Texas. Is that who you went with, or did you say Florida?
I was thinking Florida. Yeah, I was thinking Florida, then California, then Texas. Looks like Texas is the front runner.
Yeah, looks like that. The legend, Hall of Famer, Cub Swanson, he said he was offered a fight at UFC 297 in Toronto, but he had to decline. He's injured. He said he's out until next year. But, Joe, it looks like the first pay-per-view will be in the 6th in 2024. One, has the UFC ever been to Toronto? And two, do you like them going up there?
I do like that. And I actually don't think so, honestly. I think the closest they've been was when they were in, I don't know if it was Seattle, or they were out in Washington, I think, for the
Vancouver
one of the fight night.
Was
Vancouver might have been. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah. So
I thought you asked one. I thought you asked if one was ever there.
No. Is the UFC ever been to Toronto?
They had to have definitely for a GSP fight.
Yeah.
Is the O2 Arena in there?
No,
Is
that's
there
Montreal.
No,
That's
no,
Montreal. The Bell Center is
the
Montreal.
Bell in Toronto.
No, the Bell Center
Oh.
is Montreal, but I don't know the name of
They've definitely
Toronto.
been they've definitely been the one in Montreal.
Yeah, they should go back for GSP, but yeah, no, I think that should be very interesting. And by the way, UFC 297, we got 2 fights. Arnold Allen, he will take on Moslov Ivalov. UFC 297, it is not the main event, but will be on the main card. You like this bounce back fight for Arnold Allen?
I think he's in a tough spot here. I know Movsar Evelev didn't look all too good against Diego Lopez, but I think Diego Lopez has that dog in him, and Movsar had to compensate to a short notice fight in New Jersey. I don't think a lot of the fighters performed well there. I'm worried for Arnold Allen trying to make a comeback here. Movsar might be my lean.
Yeah, me too. You know, Arnold Allen sitting at 4 at the featherweight division, while he's fighting down number 9, Movsar Evelev, and it's a very risky fight, I think, for Arnold Allen, but
yes,
he will be the favorite. Brad Katona coming off the contenders, not the contender series, the Ultimate Fighter. He won his first fight. He will take on Garrett Armfield, UFC 297 in Toronto as well. You like this fight for Brad Katona?
Tough one. Garrett Armfield looked good in his last one. I think we're gonna have a stand-up battle there. A sleeper fight for that card, to be honest with you. Yeah. Brad Katona puts on a show, and Garrett Armfield, for the last time we've seen him, he does as well. So I'm excited for that one to hear.
We also have news on the Chito Vera front. His manager told at TV Barknot that the next time he will step in the octagon, it will be against Sugar Sean O'Malley in the Bantamweight Championship. Sean O'Malley said fake news. They're going at it on Twitter. You think there's any truth to that? You think that's the way the promotion is going?
Yeah, I actually do. Yeah, like I said, I think that was the play, and I kind of like segue to that's the fight we're going to get, whether or not a lot of the fighters agree. I think the UFC is trying to go with that. They want to make that money, and that's a great fight to promote for Sean to, try to cement his legacy, or Chito wants to win it, man, because it seems he might have Sean's number. So honestly, I think the UFC, not necessarily saying 2 different things, but they're definitely talking with Chito's camp. And I think if they're coming out and saying that, there must be some truth to it.
Yeah. And, I think that is the way they're going to go, because Ali, the manager, he was in an interview with Tim.
Ali's the manager for Chito?
No, of Henry Cejudo, not Henry Cejudo, but I think Merab. One of them, because he did say that Henry Cejudo has accepted an offer to fight Merab Dvalishvili. The reason I brought the other one up against Chito Vera is because I thought at least they were going to, if they aren't going to run the rematch, you got to give it to Merab. I thought 9 fights. I think he's kind of deserved it, but they're going to go the Chito Vera's route. And now Merab is going to be paired up with Henry Cejudo. I don't like that for Merab. I would sit around and wait for 7 months, to be honest.
I think Merab takes care of that.
You think so?
Yeah, I actually do. I do. Interestingly enough, I think, Henry's going to make it a tough fight, of course.
Yeah.
But Merab, he looks like a Terminator. So I can't be fading someone like that until proven otherwise.
You worry about his hand coming off surgery. He said he's not 100% yet, but come January.
When's the fight going to be announced? Yeah, exactly. I think there's enough time for him to be fine by that time. And I'd be honest, worried for Henry. If I was Henry, I'd worry. I don't know what to do, because
I think Henry wants that fight because he lost to Aljo.
Exactly. Yeah, he wants to get him back, but I just think the styles clash. I think it doesn't favor him, in my opinion. That's just the way I'm seeing it.
Ali has also said in the same interview he expects Beneil Dariush to fight Arman Tsarukyan next. You like that bounce back? He got beat up by Charles Oliveira, now coming back and taking on Arman Tsarukyan, who barely won his last fight.
Yeah, but he's gonna get beat up again, I think. Honestly,
really.
Yeah, Arman Tsarukyan, man. I do.
That's your boy.
No, I just think that's a bad fight for Beneil Dariush coming off a fight that he got punished. He's going to have to worry about the stand-up again the whole fight, because if Beneil wants to try to engage to, clinch and get it down, don't think he has the advantage in the clinch, and I think he's going to be met with a lot of good takedown defense. So, it's just a bad matchup again.
UFC 295 at Madison Square Garden. John Jones, Stipe Miocic. John Jones is training with Gordon Ryan. He said, quote, John Jones says, meanwhile, Stipe is over there preparing for a boxing match. Stipe, it is important to note he has never been submitted in his career. Things just got interesting. Can you see John Jones submitting Stipe?
I mean, that might be in the play. It's just about maybe getting it there. Because Stipe does have good takedown defense, but John, he's got that Greco-Roman background where his game is, trips and single legs. And, honestly, he's got the advantage with the grappling. There's 100% the case. His fight IQ is going to come into play. The greatest of all time, the GOAT, Gordon King Ryan. I mean, yeah, you might pick up some little tricks here and there. So, I think that's a game plan. But I think, I'm excited for that one. I really think Stipe is going to surprise a lot of people. I think it's a more competitive fight than people are expecting.
Yeah, it should be. I think the line is very disrespectful to Stipe Miocic. So if you're just betting on numbers, I think it's worth a shot to take Stipe, but should be a good good fight. I can't wait for that. And then lastly, two-time PFL welterweight champion Ray Cooper III. He will return against Blonde Brunson. He has signed a deal with PFL. The fight will be on November 24th. That was announced a few days after the news broke that Brunson has signed to the PFL. I think it's also important to note that this fight between Cooper and Brunson, he will not be going up 2 weight classes for this fight. The fight will be at 185, and then Brunson will move up to light heavyweight for the $1 million tournament. One, do you like the move from Derek Brunson going to PFL, and do you like this fight between Ray Cooper?
I like the move. I think it's another bad matchup. We see normally I like the fights, but I feel like these are kind of some like setup fights for a couple of the opponents here. Ray Cooper has got that power. Derek Brunson has been caught a couple times. I think Ray Cooper should be favored in this, but I think you're going to get Brunson as the favorite. So definitely take the dog in Cooper.
Yeah, it should be very interesting. But Joe, that's all the news I got for you this week. Final week in Dana White Contender Series. Mr. Tuesday. That's what we should start calling you because you're on fire with the Contender Series, kid. What else you got for this Tuesday night?
Yeah, man, doing fantastic. Last week I went 3-1, and I got my season totals for you. I went 16, 17, and 1 prior to being 7-2 my last 2 weeks. So my official record as of now before week 10 is 23, 19, and 1. So it's looking like I'm going to
hit a couple big dogs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like I'm going to, stay green no matter what by the end of the year with Dana White Contender Series. So I'll go right into the fights that we have here for the Dana White Contender Series. And like I said, a couple of exciting ones. We're actually going ahead and getting a whole fight that was canceled week prior, which between Davey Bittencourt Costa taking on Lucas Rocha. And before, I'll be honest with you, I think the weight cut proved it. I had Costa originally. I think he came to fight. I think he was hungry to prove the naysayers wrong and beat Lucas Rocha, who's a higher ranked fighter in the Brazilian regional, bracket. But I think Lucas Rocha not making weight will give him the advantage in this because he doesn't have to cut as much weight again. So give me a phenomenal Rocha here. I think he's going to wind up being the favorite come the odds. So I'll drop those odds, of course, come Monday for Tuesday night. Let's go into the next one. What's up?
No, I thought you were done. My bad.
Yeah, Isakov taking on Markel Medeiros. I like Isakov. I think he's more well-rounded with some submission victories, so I'll be taking him there. In the next one, give me the 5-6 on a good day. The Punisher Torres Finney to upset the Russian polar bear Yuri Panferov. I like it. I think he's gonna knock him out. I really do. I think he's got the power, barrel chested. That's like me out there. That's all we can do is be 5'6" and just be wider than we are taller. So I gotta go with Torres Finney here. And then Connor Matthews. I think you were saying something about Connor Matthews here, but dude, he's taking on the chosen Yair Farias. I got to go with the Brazilian berserker here. I think he gets it done inside the distance. And then the co-main event, I see Rickson Tai Zenidem, very highly touted fighter, but he's not as good on the feet. I think his game is to take it down. If Andre Macosta Lema can keep it on the feet, he's got the advantage with this nice kickboxing record. Give me Macosta Lema to win the co-main event. And then in the main event for week 10 of last season 7 here, Ramon Tavares returns, tries to make his way into the UFC, but he's going to be taking down Cortavius Romeus, and I got to love the nickname for Cortavius Romeus. Are you not entertained, Romeus? Think he gets the job done. And that's Dana White's Contender Series for you from, as Dylan said, I guess, Mr. Tuesday Night.
Joe, thank you so much. You'll drop your odds on X or Twitter, whatever you call it. Real quick, before we get going, we got a pay-per-view. Saturday is filled. You better have all the TVs set up. Bellator 300, UFC Vegas 80, and WWE Fastlane in Indianapolis. Joe, are you excited for this car? You got a bunch of cool fights, I think.
Yeah, I think some controversy with the Judgment Day going on. Mommy and Dom and just like
shout out Dom for winning the belt, though.
Yeah, shout out Dom and the main event seems interesting enough with the Bloodline and what's going to happen with John Cena's return. And before we get started and give our predictions, do you like Edge's move to AEW? I hate to get off topic.
To be honest, I didn't even know. I had no idea.
Edge has left the WWE and he is now on AEW. I don't know. I just thought you would know because that's your boy.
That's my boy. Yeah,
that is your boy now. I'm surprised you didn't know that.
You think you know me?
You know me?
I don't know that. That's fucking crazy. Or him and Vince at Heads.
Now I don't know the full details, but hey, you know what? He's living his life. Good for him. Good for Adam
Joe.
Cole.
But why don't we start with the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship? The Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest taking on Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Who do you like here?
I do think I know they've got the controversy going, but without it should have been even bigger favorite than what we're seeing here with the controversy. I think the Judgment Day with the numbers finds a way to get it done. So I'll take them. And there's odds. It's minus 300. So Judgment Day is minus 300. Yeah,
they're going to win. I think even though, they got some tensions, despite that, I do think they're going to get there. Drew McIntyre, he's shown signs that he's about to turn heel. He's had issues with the Usos specifically. So it seems as though, the most sensible approach is to take the Judgment Day. I don't think Cody Rhodes wins. I think sets up for a big program for Rhodes rivalry next. So, yeah, I agree with the Judgment Day pick, I think, and still. Let's go talk about John Cena. John Cena will be taking on LA Knight. Or no, John Cena and LA Knight taking on the Bloodline, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. You saw Solo Sikoa live. How was he?
Oh, a berserker, man, a destroyer, eater of worlds. Shout out Bray Wyatt, but my man Solo Sikoa, man, like Umaga, bro, coming out there with the thumb, putting it into people's necks. Do you remember Coach Herb by chance? Do you remember Jared's dad, Coach Herb? He had the thumb.
Oh yeah,
he had the thumb.
Knew all the pressure points.
The thumb, bro. Yeah. So don't doubt the thumb now.
So who do you got in this fight?
John Cena and LA Knight minus 5,000.
Wow.
Being more of the push for LA Knight. I feel like they want to have a face here. They have some controversy as well with the Bloodline. You got the heels having controversy in their stables, and they don't want to get on the bad side of the tribal chief, but I believe they will, and they'll have to face the wrath and possibly be at the council of the tribal chief.
Yeah, I agree. You're funny. Give me John Cena and LA Knight. I agree. I think they're pushing LA Knight, pairing him with a 16-time world champion, Hollywood star. John Cena is coming out. He's come back for about, I think, the 2-month run. I think he's like giving him the torch, I think, John Cena and LA Knight. So yeah, I think they got some answers to answer Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. Let's talk about the World Heavyweight Championship. The champion Seth Rollins will take on Sensei Nakamura. Who do you like here?
Man, I think, it's surprising that Seth Rollins the favorite in this one.
He has to be.
Yeah, but, the whole story about his back and that, he's one injury away from never wrestling again. And I know it may not be, it may not be advised to go against a World Heavyweight Champion here because you got Roman Reigns as champion. You got Seth Rollins as champion. These are the faces of the WWE, of the company, but I think it's Shinsuke Nakamura's time. Whether or not like I said, you think it's kayfabe that he's hurt in his back, literally. I know he has had injuries and he's had surgery, Seth Rollins. So I think there's some validity to it. But of course, the storylines, they could, push it a little more and have Shinsuke isolate the back and hurt him back, hit him. And if you've seen the past couple of Raws,
Yeah,
Seth Rollins has been getting absolutely beat up by Shinsuke Nakamura, and I think it's all added up. I think Shinsuke Nakamura is going to upset
wow.
Seth Rollins here. Give me the plus 250 dog.
Wow.
The king of strong style, Shinsuke Nakamura.
I agree. I agree, Joe. I do think they have been. I think the injury is real. I think his back is actually injured, and we've seen it. He has been injured. He has been targeting that injured back for months now, actually. And I do think Seth Rollins will lose eventually at the appropriate time. I just don't think Sensei Nakamura could be the face of Raw. I just don't think right now. So I think Seth Rollins retains his title. Give me Seth Rollins.
Not bad.
Let's go WWE Women's Championship. Io Sky taking on Asuka, taking on the Queen, Charlotte Flair.
The triple threat.
You know where I'm going to go, Joe.
You're going with the Queen.
The Queen. And new. She's the best women's fighter of all time. She's the Queen. There's Beyonce, Charlotte Flair, every other woman. That's what I'll leave it at.
Give me the genius of the Sky. Io Shirai is now Io Sky. I got her. I think she's, the star that Asuka knows her to be, and Charlotte Flair is trying to push. That's what I think this is. I think that, if you look at Asuka and you look at Charlotte Flair, the reason they are who they are is because they've been in the business for 20 years plus. It's time for them to pass the torch.
Yeah.
No better champion than Io Sky. I mean, honestly, she's got the look, she's got the technical capability, and yes, she's not speaking English right now. She's only able to speak Japanese, but I actually find it more interesting. And the WWE is doing well now, putting subtitles, and she is working on her English, so she'll soon enough be knowing English like the back of her hand. That won't even be a problem. But I think she needs to keep it going. Let's get. WWE should just absorb all these other companies, might as well. I know they're saying like keep it all independent, stuff like that. Let's just put all these wrestlers. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I don't think they'll ever get on the scale of the WWE. We're seeing the AEW about to fold as well. I hate to see a monopoly in that, but it's like you got a lot of stars coming out. I think Io Sky is the next one. So give me her in the money line at minus 300.
I will say Io Sky is, she's a breath of fresh air in the women's division that I think the company needed. I don't think Asuka's run at champion, I don't think it was very spectacular. We know Charlotte Flair and her run at the title. And I think Sky, on your end, I'm just picking her because I love Charlotte Flair. But I do see your point. I do think Sky should win this fight. There's a lot of fresh matchups and I guess storylines that you could make with her, with Bianca, the revenge factor there. So I think she is very talented. So I do like Sky. I just got to go with my girl. And then last fight, Latino World Order versus Bobby Lashley
Big dogs.
and the Street Profit. Who do you like here?
Man, I think that they're trying to solidify themselves as the tag team in their division and possibly their brand. So Street Profits with Bobby Lashley may be an unstoppable force. It sucks it's at the expense of Rey Mysterio and the Latino World Order, but I got to go with the favorite here. Minus 800, I see Street Profits to be with Bobby Lashley. They get it done dominantly.
Yeah, I think they dominate. I mean, how can you not back Bobby Lashley? I mean, this guy's a fucking beast. He's been doing it since I've been in diapers. So I got to go Bobby Lashley. So we're pretty aligned in everything, but I got the Queen winning it.
Hey, Shinsuke, come on!
Joe, great episode. Good luck on all your plays this weekend. Any last words before we get out of here, kid?
Hey, like I said, I'll post all my Dana White Contender Series odds for the final week and keep you posted on anything else. I know we got Glory kickboxing going on this weekend as well. Octagon, LFA, Carrington versus Wood in boxing. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, shout out Lee Wood, Nottingham Forest. He's going to get the win.
There you go. Awesome. So, a lot going on other than that. Shout out who you said, Lee Wood, with the Nottingham Forest. But I got to give a shout out to my Moroccan fighter, legend of kickboxing, Badahari's taking on Uku Jurjendal. I think Badahari makes a nice comeback and finishes Uku Jurjendal with Glory 89.
Speaking of boxing, big matchup. We got Logan Paul next week, and my boy Dylan Dan is going to prove all the doubters wrong. And then KSI is going to go back into streaming and get knocked out by the. Oh man, we got a lot to talk about next week. That's going to do it for this Friday edition of Axe Cake Picks. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Joey, I am your host, D-Rock, and we'll see you guys next week with plenty of picks, plenty of hot takes. So please follow along on social media, X and Instagram at Axe Cake Picks. You guys can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. We go live on YouTube every Friday night around 5, little after 5 p.m. here on the East Coast. So subscribe, rate, give us a review. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Everyone, good luck on your wagers this weekend. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you guys down the road. Peace!